I'm on a ledge about midway down to the falls, and I gotta say, this waterfall does not photograph well. A lot of trees and obstructions in the way. It's pretty once you get down in underneath all that kind of stuff, but its beauty is definitely hidden. All right, it's a brisk Veterans Day in Shenandoah National Park. We are at the Hogback Overlook parking area. We are about to do the overall run trail. Try to get the shadow here. Matthews Arm campground was closed. That's where we normally would have started and hiked in from there. So instead we're going to hike from the Appalachian Trail, pick up the Tuscarora overall run trail, follow it down to the falls. So I believe it is 6.1 miles round trip. So won't be too bad today. On our first milepost. Should be where we take a right and head down towards the there we are, Tuscarora overall run trail. To the falls is going to be 2.8, or we can stay on the Appalachian Trail and go the wrong way. So far it's been a nice gradual descent, so this shouldn't be too bad on the way back up. These are a little wet and slippery, but that's to be expected. One of the reasons that I've not been able to hike this earlier is the waterfall tends to dry up during the summer. So I didn't catch it in the spring, and then we had a relatively dry summer, so it just really wasn't flowing too much. So now that just had a big rain yesterday, it's fall, we've had a fair amount of rain so far, so it should be flowing pretty good. Plus I don't mind doing this when it's a little nicer weather. Kind of gets oppressive during the summer, so it's definitely nice hiking when it's not 8 million degrees. But I was kind of worried about the downhill when I was looking at this map. It's not my favorite thing to hike down first and then back up, but so far it's been pretty gradual downhill, so this shouldn't be too bad to turn around and come back up. Carrying a little bit more camera gear than usual, but that shouldn't make too much of a difference. And then parking lot was really full today, so I'm not sure if that's the popularity of this particular hike or if it's just because it's a free entrance day because of Veterans Day. So we have the trailhead, and this must be our second post. We had the trailhead, which didn't have a post. We had to split off of the Appalachian Trail, and so now this is another split. Let's see where this takes us. Oh wow, there is no information there. So, all right, this is the Traces Trail. Oh, this takes us up to Matthews Arm. And so if we take that one, this is the overall run falls, which is 1.9 miles on the Tuscarora overall run trail. So we're going to be taking a right here. So that trail takes us back to Matthews Arm campground. It's where we would have started today if it had been open, which it is most of the season, but closes mid-October or so. So the alternative during the off season is to hike in from the Appalachian Trail from Skyline Drive, milepost 21, which is what we've done today. It's about 4.5 miles, I think, if you do it from Matthews Arm, or is it 6.1 if you do it from Skyline Drive. So it's about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles most. I can hear a turkey. I can't see him. It doesn't count as a hike unless you climb on something. So I got my rock climbing in for the day. So my camera note or tutorial, or what you want to call it. So far all of my shots have been of me walking with the camera behind me, so you get to see the back of my head. And well, I like to mix it up and get both coming and going and that kind of thing. The sun has been at my back, so that means if I point the camera forward and walk towards it, the camera's looking directly into the sun, camera really doesn't like that. Tends to overexpose, not produce very good video, and so for that reason I'm having to work around. That's part of the dilemma of working with natural light sources. There are a few clouds, so if I time it right, I can catch it while the sun goes behind a cloud, possibly get a walking forward shot. But there really hasn't been a ton of stuff on this trail to really be distinctive, other than just trees and leaves and a few rocks. So that's the other reason why I haven't done a ton of hiking type shots. I'm hoping that in the edit I'm able to kind of cut those down and almost use them as establishing shots. So just to see what I mean, this is shooting to the side now to try to keep it out of the sun, but if I turn now, the camera's looking right into the sun. I can't imagine that any of this footage is going to be usable, so this is what I'm trying to avoid as I'm doing the shoots. I don't know if this is the stream that feeds into it, or I'm sure it's one of. I don't know how many there are, but looks to be flowing pretty good today. It's just past milepost for the Matthews Arm Trail, a group of 4, which brings our total count. It's either 18 or 20. Can't remember if there's a group of 2. I can't remember if I counted once or twice. So yeah, there's a lot of people out today. So 0.5 miles to the falls at this point. Definitely warmed up since the top. The shedding layers pretty consistently on the way down. Pretty much as soon as I got off the top, lost a lot of the wind. Still hear it up in the trees, but down at ground level it's not really too bad at all. Can't believe you're going to actually hear me say this, but I'm actually looking forward to the climb back up. Downhill hasn't been too steep, but with all the leaves, and especially the wet leaves, it's been slippery, so I haven't really been able to make a real good time. I have, going up is going to be easier. You can kind of more mindlessly trudge uphill. It won't be easier in the sense that it'll be more physically demanding, but it will be easier from a mental, not having to worry about slipping standpoint. Alright, looks like we're getting to overall run. Doing a little switch back here. You can see the first falls. Of course, we're looking right into the sun because that's life mocking me. Water's definitely up today. You're not going to have a dry falls. I think they got about a ½ inch yesterday. So get to see the waterfall in all of its glory, and then with all the leaves down, should have a pretty good view out into the valley. So the signpost back there said ½ mile. I guess that's ½ mile to the lower falls. This first falls was not it was not ½ mile. It was 1/10 of a mile at best. Someone's definitely done a lot of work putting in steps. So overall, this has been a very wide, easy to hike trail. I imagine it gets a lot of use and people put a lot of time and effort into it. There's a fair amount of places where water crosses over and they dug the trenches and made it so that the water won't wash out the trail. This looks like the first / smaller / upper waterfall. Alright, so that's the main overall run falls. Okay, I'll get that right one of these days. Not too bad. Definitely gonna have to get down a little bit closer to get some good shots, but not too bad. Might be an interesting rappel one day. A bit of a hike, but might be doable. I'd say by pure luck, I found the best time of year to come look at this. Both we had enough enough rainfall that the waterfall is actually flowing. The leaves are off the trees, so you can actually see the waterfall. And I found pretty much the best spot where you can see the whole thing kind of snaking its way up through. I can't imagine that during the summertime this is nearly as impressive. I know the water flow really drops off, and with all the tree leaves and everything blocking it, you really wouldn't see much. So definitely a late fall after the leaves have dropped, or winter hike is probably your best bet. Probably interesting in the real winter when it's frozen over. If you actually ice climb it or not, might be something interesting to try one day. But it's pretty right now. A lot of flowing white water. Not really a true free fall like they advertised. 90, what do they call it? 93 feet of continuous waterfall. To me, this is more of a cascade, but I guess I don't make the rules. On top of Overall Run Falls, the topping largest cascade. Continues on downhill. Alright, stand at the very top of Overall Run Falls. You'd think of saying that all day, I did it right by now, but apparently not. So, right now, all the water from this stream funnels into that one real pinch point and goes over. Alright, and so begins the uphill slug back home, or back to the car. About 3-ish miles, a little over 3 miles. Probably will stop at that middle waterfall that I looked at from the top, but didn't look at from the bottom. It's going to be all uphill from here. But I'm hoping that's actually not a bad thing. That I'm able to just kind of head down, power through it, stop as I need to stop. But just coming down a little slippery, a little hard to keep your footing. So I'm hoping on the way back up, just power on through. All right, heading back. The sun is now in my face. We are now approaching the Matthews Arm Trail pull-off. So we're going to go back the way we came. Thus far, I've managed to stay on trail and maybe on time. I'm not doing too bad on time, so definitely breaking all kinds of records today. So when I read this, it's Matthews Arm going to the right, or Appalachian Trail going to the left. That's what we are going to do. 2.3 miles. In recap, there were 3 falls total. Kind of a little cascade at the very top. Decent size, probably 20-footer in the middle. And then the major fall, which according to the park is 93. Now they say 93 continuous. Look like a cascade to me. So we'll agree to disagree. But it's definitely the bigger of the falls. From the trail, not real good vantage. It wasn't until I really got off the trail that I found the various overlooks and you could actually see the falls. Even so, with any kind of a leaf cover, you're gonna have a real problem seeing it. There's just lots of trees boxing it in. So this time of year, once the leaves have dropped, that's a good time to do it because you can actually see all the water. And then we had about half an inch of rain yesterday, so you definitely want to do it after a major rain event because it does tend to dry up pretty quickly and it's not much of a waterfall when there's no water flowing. So this one takes a little planning, a little coordination. Wouldn't just up and go do this one, especially in the middle of the summer. There was at least 20 people, probably 30 people, well, at least 30 people now that I'm thinking about it. There's 20 people just when I got to the first little falls and then more when I was down at the second. But we'll say there's 30 people just at the falls in addition to the 20 or so that I passed coming in. So definitely busy. Now, this is a holiday, but it's a Wednesday in November, so I don't know if that speaks to the popularity of this hike or just the fact that we have nice weather in November and people are choosing to get outdoors. But it was I could see where in the peak of the tourist season that would be just swamped with people. It is a big trail, so it could probably accommodate it, but if you're going for pictures or anything like that, you're gonna have people climbing all over the falls on a busy weekend. You probably wouldn't be able to get many good pictures. So plan your trip accordingly. Day after a rain, after the leaves have fallen, and from that you get some good pretty waterfall pictures. I will warn you, waterfall's facing east. So I was there about 2 in the afternoon. Most of the falls were in the shadow, so I wasn't having too much of an exposure problem. But because the waterfall is in the shadow, you get any kind of skyline in your picture, it's going to blow out the contrast. So you have to kind of pick your shots, possibly use a graduated density filter to make the sky a little darker. But from a photography standpoint, it's going to require some planning.